Hello, this is Dr. Oz. In this video, I would like to talk about data visualization, which is a very important concept because at the end of any business analytics model, you will present your results to your audience, your managers, your colleagues, your clients, government agencies, and so on. All right, so the data visualization involves creating a summary table or generating charts. The idea here is to help interpreting these results or information or data and analyze them and learn from the data. Uh, it's important to visualize data to find errors in your data or in your business process, and reduce the data set because we have so much data out there. We don't want to deal with data that's not necessary for our decision-making process. And it's important to understand it will help us to understand important relationships and trends in the data. Okay, so these are some important things. So let's talk about some effective design techniques. One thing that's very important is data ink ratio. Basically, we don't want to put ink on our presentations or on our graphs or tables just for sake of putting it. Every single ink should have some kind of meaning. All right, so data ink is the total amount of ink used in a table or chart. So it's developed by Edward Tufte, and it's called data ink ratio. So again, we want to convey the necessary information, and if there is something that has no useful meaning, purpose, we will just eliminate it. So take a look at this low data ink ratio. Tell me why you think that this is not really good. So obviously you can see that there's so much going on here. All those lines. The question is, do I need this line, for example? Do I need this line, right? Or do I need this vertical lines? So these are the questions that we need to ask ourselves. Do I need those horizontal and vertical lines in the table? Another example of, so this is a bad practice that I showed you up here. Another bad practice example here is a chart. Do I really need this horizontal lines? I don't know. Do I need this? Maybe. Do I need that, right? We need to ask these questions to ourselves. Do I need this or not? So some of that, obviously I do. Some of them I don't. So let's take a look at the removing unnecessary grid lines for our first table for the sales company. I think this looks much more beautiful than this one because this is confusing me. I don't want to deal with those lines. Look at this here. I eliminated all those horizontal lines and I eliminated all those vertical lines. We just kept this horizontal line to separate our title from the rest of the data, and we use bold to differentiate our titles from our data. Beautiful. Let's look at graphs. No horizontal lines. That's beautiful. We don't need sales here. As long as we define sales right here, I don't need that. And we gotta make sure that we label things. This is meaningful, right? So look at this one versus this one. This doesn't tell me what this is, what that is. Now, I don't need this because this information will be carried over here. All right. So this is a good example as well. So let's take a look at the tables. Table designs are important too. And in this area, I would like to talk about table design principles, cross tabulation, and in Excel, we will use pivot tables. Tables, when should we use tables? That's an important question to answer. When the reader needs specific number, I need tables. If they don't, I can use chart. If they want to make, the reader want to make precise comparisons instead of just looking high level, what's going on. If the units are different from one another, I recommend tables or the magnitudes, because if I have magnitude of, let's say, hundreds of thousands of dollars for one data and the other one is thousands of dollars, of course I cannot see these values because hundreds of thousands is so big, the magnitude difference. Okay, so let's take a look at this table right here, showing exact values for this company. I have month data for 6 months. Totals, I separate them with my vertical line to total with the others. And the titles, I separate them again with my vertical line. And titles, again, here I separate them. Okay, so you can see exact values of each of these numbers. If you wanted to eliminate, you could, I would say, look at our previous table, you could eliminate these guys, right? Or the bottom ones. So if I want to increase the, by the way, ratio, inc ratio, I could eliminate that. I could eliminate that. I could eliminate this, and I could eliminate that. All right, so let's take a look at the line chart of monthly cost revenues example. Again, this has high, low, low inc ratio. However, so again, our goal, if you go back, data inc ratio, I want it to be high data, less inc. This is high data and low inc, but this doesn't mean it's great, because excuse me, a chart needs a title. This is not good practice. A chart needs axis labels. This is good. I like that there is no horizontal line here. So you can see here that my revenue in general is here greater, lower, greater, but you cannot see exact numbers. So if you don't care about exact numbers, this graph, this chart is more than enough. But if you want to see the exact numbers, you may want to create something like this chart here and table here. Again, I still want to see these titles though. All right. So another table example here, headcounts, cost revenue for this company. Again, I don't like this thing. I don't like this thing. I don't like this thing.
I like this line because it separates total from the I like this line because it is separating my title. I like this line too for separating the data. But I don't like this. I don't
vertical lines. They are unnecessary. It is causing low data inc ratio. But the good thing is you can see here the specific numbers, and as you see, the magnitude is quite different here. Headcount is very small versus cost and revenue, they are huge. So it's good to have them in data table. So we need to, in general, avoid using vertical lines unless they are necessary for clarity. Horizontal lines generally necessary for only separating column titles. Okay. So look at this table examples and tell me which one looks better. Always this looks horrible, right? So many lines going on and it's very low data inc ratio. Here it's slightly better, but still I don't need these, for example, vertical lines. Here again, it's so many lines going on. This is pretty good because as you see here, I have only one vertical line to separate my total, and I have only 3 horizontal lines, which I like to see profit separate because very important for me. And you don't even probably need this one, but it's okay, right? But this table is pretty easy to read. What if you have a large number of data in your data set? It's going to be harder and harder to see. So in this case, for example, I have 12 locations. We color-coded columns, which is pretty cool because I can see the months easier. And as you see here, I have vertical line separate the titles. I like that. Horizontal line separating titles from data. I like that. I like this one because separating my total costs and the data itself with its lump sum is good. Again, I like these colors because it makes the table easier to read. So let's talk about cross tabulation. So it's a useful type of table for describing data for 2 variables. And in Excel, we use cross tabulation using Microsoft Excel. So here is an example of data for quality rating, meal price for 300 Los Angeles restaurants. You can see the restaurant numbers on the first column. You can see their quality rating, good, very good, excellent, and so on. You can see their meal price and wait time. So this data is hard to see the way it is because I cannot see what's going on, which one is better. Is very good 22 is the good thing, 6 minutes, I don't know, right? That's why we do cross tabulation. So for example, what I do here is I can keep my first column good, very good, excellent, and put the meal prices. So as you see here, I want to have excellent, obviously, right? And meal price cheapest. So intersection is right here. So it looks like these are the two restaurants that are the best in terms of these two measures. So it's much easier to see. If I want to find the worst restaurant, basically I can look at this row and the highest price for that option. So don't go there. All right. So we can do the same thing in Excel, and I will show you how to do that in my next video using pivot table. That's it for this video. Until next video, enjoy business analytics.